Good morning. This is Angela with a cup of tea on Monday, September 5th, 2011. And good grief, I think it's going to be good afternoon by the time I'm done because it is almost lunchtime. So I apologize. It is Labor Day in the United States. And I'm in sort of that holiday mode, so I got going a little late today. But the funny thing is, I go back to my journal to see what the topic was going to be for this morning because it came in like 2 days ago and then I promptly forgot about it because I've had all of this stuff coming into me that's been awesome. So I go back and look and I was like, oh, well, it's very fitting for today, and I didn't even put it together at the time. I have had so many conversations lately with people who have come to me and said, I thought I was happy. I thought I was happy doing what I was doing. I thought I was happy with my life or whatever, but I've had all this friction. All of this stuff is starting to rumble inside of me. And they say this in different ways. I'm having this friction. I'm feeling like I'm not doing what I came here to do. I'm feeling like I'm being held back. I'm feeling like I'm holding myself back. And I want to reach that next level. And this is what I do when I work with people a lot of times. This is a lot of what the core of the conversation is about. What is so awesome and so amazing is, it shows the changes that we're making. It shows our evolution and what's going on right under our noses. So even if you're saying, well, I'm waiting, well, it's going on right in front of us, within ourselves. And that's where we're starting. We're taking everything that's going on outside of us that we're manifesting, in essence. But all this disempowerment that we've allowed in part of this experience during this existence, as I've talked about a zillion times, but we're taking away that disempowerment and we're coming back to our own divinity and we're coming into our full power. And we are remembering that the answers are not coming from others, they're coming from within us. So what's happening, the friction that so many people are starting to experience is what they've been brought up to understand, whether it's their parents, their peers, their friends, their culture, that has told them what they can or cannot do, what they should or should not do. Again, I'm going back to anytime somebody tells you should not, must not, have to, can't, then you have to go back and say that's all ego-based and go and tap into your higher self, saying, well, what's right for me? All of this judgment, all of this expectations, we're releasing that. And in the process, though, we're going through this huge transition because so many of us were brought up that way. And we were brought up to say, okay, well, you know what? It's nice that you like art and stuff, honey, but go and work in engineering and just do the art on the side because that's never going to support you. Remember, how many conversations have you heard like that? How many conversations have we all had like that? So the importance here is that now we're coming back to say, wait a second. I want my heart to sing. I want my soul to sing, and I want to reach that personal legend that I've talked about, that Paul Coelho talks about in The Alchemist. Reaching our personal legend, which is reaching our highest and best in what we came here to do in this life. And our soul is really awakening up and becoming awake and saying, wait a second, yeah, you know what, that served us, that might have served the experience, but it doesn't serve us. Now we're ready to serve us and to really blossom, to really come into our divinity again and really reconnect. And the only way to really do that is to remember the answers are all inside and not from outside. And the answers are all about love and all about the highest and best. So what I tell people is this, because the next conversation is, well, I really want to do this, but I don't know, my family doesn't approve, my spouse doesn't approve, my friends don't approve. And this doesn't even have to be just what you're doing for a living. This could be as simple as having a certain hobby or certain friends that really bring out your highest and best. And there are just so many different ways of doing it. But today I'm really focusing on finding our true purpose and clarity of purpose. And the importance is if we can, again, tie into our higher selves, tie into our divinity, and we get away from being that pawn on the game board, which is what the ego is doing, is making decisions based on being right there on the game board. And we back up and we become the player. And not only the player, but then we become the creator of the game. And say, you know what, I can change this game if I want to. And it doesn't matter if I'm 5 or 75 or 50. It doesn't matter, because whenever I'm ready, and now I'm ready to have my soul sing and my heart sing and to reach my highest and best and my divine purpose and my personal legend and whatever you want to call it, whenever you're ready, it's the right time. And when you say, I know, and I tapped into my higher self, and this is the importance of all the stuff that I talk about in working with clearing all that chatter and clearing the line up so that we can really, really expand our consciousness and know what it is we came here to do. And we always get to talking about that approval thing, because, okay, the approval thing, and what does the approval thing come down to is, am I worthy of being loved? Am I worthy? If I am afraid of so-and-so is not going to love me if I do this, that is an issue that has to do with worthiness. So again, we have to take away that disempowerment, because that is a form of disempowerment. By allowing us to give away a part of ourselves, by allowing ourselves to not reach our highest and best because somebody else has ego issues of their own. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. This is just what we've been wanting to experience in this existence. Then we're disempowering ourselves. So what I say is this: we are all love. From my understanding, the only absolute in this universe is love. So all the other stuff is just facade. And if we can accept that we are always unconditionally loved, and then you look at really the idea of what unconditional love is, we say unconditional love is based out of the idea that no matter what you do, I love you. No matter who you are, no matter what you do, whatever makes you happy, whatever you're going through, whatever experience you're going through, I love you. That is unconditional love. I accept you for who you are right now, and I have no expectations. I have no demands. This is just me loving you. That's where we're getting back to. So I say to them, if somebody truly loves you, then what's really, really important is for us to get back. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. But if somebody really loves you, what's really important is if they truly love you, if they know that your goal is to hit your highest and best in your personal legend and to make your soul sing, why would they disapprove of that in any way? That's their issue. So then I come back to what I've said a bunch of times from when I went to New Mexico and saw Little Grandmother, and and the quote that I've used so many times since I came back, which is, it's none of your business what other people think of you. And what I add on to that is because it's their own issues. It's what they have to work through, because if they have something or they have a judgment about you, that is something they have to work through. That is not your problem. That is not your challenge. That is not your lesson. It's theirs. The lesson we're going through is to disregard that, because what is most important is to know what's coming from here. And if you look at that from a larger perspective and you pull out the lens and you look at it from panoramic view and say, what would happen if everyone was free? Everyone felt the freedom, which we all do have. It's just getting past the perception that we don't. What if everyone realized that they were free to reach their highest and best and to reach their personal legend and to make their heart and soul sing? What if we all worked to that? Think of how happy everyone would be. Think of how accepting and how loving everyone would be, because they would be happy with everything from within themselves, and therefore they would manifest it around them. And they would be, just if you look at the job thing, if you woke up and loved everything you did every single day, how much more would we all enjoy life and enjoy this experience that we're going through together? And that's the other thing, is even though it's very individual, we're all doing this journey together at the same time. We're just doing it our own way. So there are a lot of different aspects, but this is such an important thing, because it ties back to going back to the basics, and you know, so many people are like, well, I just don't get to the I just can't find time to do any kind of meditation, or I just can't find time to do it. That is probably the singular most important thing you could be doing, is tapping in, quieting the chatter. Whether, again, I've said a zillion times, whether it's sitting and really spacing out and doing the own thing or whatever, or just going for a walk or working out or taking yoga. Or a friend of mine said that she loves mowing the yard, makes her mind clear out, or just taking a bubble bath. Whatever it is that's going to quiet the chatter and help you start tapping into your expanded consciousness, to your, you know, your higher levels of consciousness. That's the first step in finding our clarity and purpose. And once we find our clarity and we get that clarity in our purpose, then we take the next step and know and ask what the direction, the best steps, and the best and highest way to get to our highest and best and to reach our personal legend. So on that, have a great Labor Day. Whether or not you're in the United States, have a great day, and I'll talk to you Thursday. This is Angela with a Cup of Tea.